Following the failure of my microphone to record for a 45-minute session, which if you haven't seen, I'll try to link right up here, I decided that it was probably time to replace my $20 Amazon microphone find from years ago. When it comes to microphones, there's no shortage of options at no shortage of price points. And so I did maybe not a ton of research, but a very decent amount, and ended up on a choice that I don't think I would have made years ago. The argument has been made multiple times for XLR versus USB, and it used to be that if you were going for a USB mic, everyone would make fun of you because they were just not the same quality that you could pull out of XLR. But in 2025, is that still the case, or have we moved on? Let's take a look. I have today just got delivered the Elgato Wave 3. Actually got it as part of a bundle, part of the Elevate Your Sound bundle in white. I haven't unboxed it, so I'm going to do a full unboxing and reaction. We'll compare it to what this microphone sounds like, and I'll give you all the details as we go. Okay, so with the parts out of their delivery packaging, we've got, as part of the bundle, the microphone arm, the low profile white microphone arm, which I would show the front sticker for, the front box packaging for, but they put my address sticker right on it, and I'm not going to dox myself. We've got the shock mount for the Wave 3. Hopefully my camera will focus there a little bit. Oh, maybe autofocus is turned off. I'm not really sure. You get the idea. And a pop filter as well comes in the package. And of course, the Wave 3, the Elgato Wave 3 USB microphone. Man, it kind of took a little bit of a little rough shipping there, looks like. Okay, so let's get into the actual Wave 3. I do have my autofocus enabled now, so we can take a closer look at the microphone itself. To give you kind of an idea of where I'm at, though, as I open up some of this packaging, is I'm using a newer NEEWER, I think is how you would spell it, microphone arm from Amazon. I think this thing was all of 20 to 30 bucks. And then a Florian BM 800? Yeah, BM 800. This is, again, $20 maybe that I paid for it. It is a XLR interface microphone, and I have this microphone running into a, let me see if I can just get this here for a shot. Surely this won't break, but I have it in a Behringer Euphoria UMC22. So one moment here. Let me see if I can get it in shot for you. So I have that running in. So it's XLR straight into the DAC, and then from the DAC itself, it goes to USB to the PC. And honestly, for a $20, I mean, all in, you know, well, with the DAC, you're going to spend a little bit more than this. I don't know what the price of that UMC 22 is right now, or if you can even buy it. I'll maybe try to put it up on screen if you can. But the microphone, 20, the cable, probably like 5 or 10 bucks on Amazon. And then the arm, 20. So it's like a $50 setup. Honestly, I've been using it for years, and I think it sounds pretty okay in general, especially for what you could get out of other microphone setups. But I knew it was time for an upgrade, especially with it being spotty on recording. Now when I'm using it, I don't feel like losing another 45 minutes. Also, just in general, of it being old, I can tell that it's deteriorating a little bit more than just a loss of recording. When it gets closer to like a clipping level, there's a lot of bad distortion, which I know you never want to be clipping anyway, but kind of bad distortion that hits towards the end of that. So I'm hoping that this Elgato Wave 3 even though it's USB, will be the answer to all these problems. Okay, cleared a little space on my desk here. Without further ado, I'm going to start opening this. I don't necessarily have a great camera angle pointed at my desk, so I'll just try to hold it up here when I do unbox. Hey, first microphone, first any product review, really, on a channel talking about, you know, that it's supposed to be for reviews. Cut me some slack. Opening that exterior packaging up that they gave, which of course it's got all the rundown of what you're going to find in the actual product itself. Let's see if we can get any of that. Boy, it doesn't want to focus on that with me in frame, does it? It doesn't want to focus on... Hey, there we go. So that's kind of what you're going to get in the box. Opening that interior packaging, we're left with this. And this is for the primary microphone itself, not any of the other goodies just yet. Been sick this week, so if I sound a little off, forgive me. Okay, it looks like we're getting a cable package, I assume. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. It does have a little guide as to what all the different parts probably are going to do, kind of like little... breakdown here and there of the microphone features. And let me make sure before we go to the main event that there's nothing left in the bottom here. Oh, there might be. Nope. Okay, just decent packaging. Really decent packaging. We have the microphone wrapped up. It does come with a desktop stand, so don't feel like there is, if you're looking into buying this, don't feel necessarily that there is a requirement to buy a mic arm with it. It does come with a desktop stand. Just know what compromises you're going to get into with potential handling noise, etc. So, with all that being said, we open up. We have the Wave 3 in white. So you can see on the front there, you've got what I presume to be your volume control, as well as some indicator lights. The top has a mute. Let's see if I can... It's kind of the same color, so it may be a little difficult to see. Yeah, it's not going to show up at all. But there is a mute button at the top. I believe it is capacitive, meaning you don't have to like click. You could just tap, touch, and it'll mute. As well as on the back, you have a direct headphone monitor port, 3.5mm monitoring port. Get it in front of my face. Maybe it'll stop focusing on me. Oh well. And a USB-C to plug it in. First and foremost, for the build quality of this is extremely rigid. Like there is no, I'm trying, but there's no give on that grate, which is nice. Very weighty. Like this probably weighs more than this entire mic arm setup, which leads me to believe or to hope that this is actually a premium quality microphone. As we get into some of the accessories, I'm going to open up actually that little box that it came with. And so as I'm doing this, I'm going to talk about, I kind of alluded to earlier, USB versus XLR. When I got this setup, again, I want to say this is around 2016 to 2018, but I could be wrong because I've used this for a long time. Back then, it was the case that virtually any USB microphone was pretty trash. They, there's a little wrap-up thing with an adapter. So in that little box, we've got a thread adapter. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know all the different sizes of adapter, but if you know what you're looking for, there you go. And then a USB A to C cable for the microphone, which is probably too short, but I have a longer one. I've bought longer ones, so we'll have that. Back to the point I was making about USB versus XLR mics. I think the thought was at the time, and a lot of the research kind of supported the fact that even a lower quality XLR microphone would outperform many USB microphones that were on the market, because USB microphones were just kind of not good. They didn't really have the software driver support to have like great USB microphones. I think you could probably always find some outlier of some exception, but I remember prior to this, I had a Blue Snowball, and that microphone, in my opinion, was horrible. I hated how it sounded. I think this was an upgrade over that, and this was $20. So I've been kind of on the XLR train for a while, and then once you get something, because I'm not listening to my voice every day, and prior to this, I wasn't uploading videos at all either. You just kind of sit with what you know. You just kind of stay. But now, when it came time for an upgrade, and you look at kind of what is out there, it seems like USB microphones have really come a long way. There are a lot of different options that I saw. I ended up going with Elgato, which if you told me months ago that I would buy an Elgato anything, I would probably have told you that you're wrong, because it almost has this like cliche streamer vibe to it, in the same way that like Razer keyboards have like a Razer, gamer vibe to them, as I say, using a Razer keyboard. So you just have to be careful buying things that are marketed at certain demographics, certain markets that are trying to be captured, that the products are actually quality and not just, oh, someone's buying it because of the name. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the build quality. I wouldn't have expected it to be this nice, and I think it'll be a nice little replacement. Let's get into some of the other accessories, though. Okay, so next I've got kind of the main packaging open. We'll be taking a look at the pop filter, and I'll do like a plosives test once everything is set up. Okay, nice packaging again, and instead of a wind sock, kind of like this Florian came with, this is kind of a front-facing grate that clips on. I'm not sure if it has any magnetic. Yeah, there are actually magnets there on the bottom, so it is magnetic. So it kind of clips on and holds on right there on the front to your microphone, which also makes sure that even if you're up on it, you're going to have a good distance between you and it. Talking to do the plosives, it definitely smells like new plastic. If you've ever opened up kind of a new plastic tech item, that's always one of the best parts. All right, so we've got the microphone on the stand. We've got the pop filter. Now let's get the shock mount. And we're probably going to have to open up and get the arm itself here shortly too. So we'll take a look. Okay, we've got the shock mount out, and this is extremely well built, it looks like. There is a little bit of plastic seaming that you can see on like the very inside of the mount. You can kind of see how the light reflects off of it a little bit. So it's not just like super clean, and there's absolutely no seams, as it were, but the overall quality is great. This entire outer part is metal. The inside where the microphone is held is plastic. This adapter piece seems to be plastic as well, this here, but then you've got your thread with an adapter, a thread adapter on the inside. Okay, well, now that we've got all the different pieces out and ready, the next thing is really to open up the microphone arm and to get it set up so that we can use it and do kind of an audio comparison. So give me a second. I'm going to start getting that unboxed. Okay, it does come so I've got the microphone arm box open kind of here on the floor. It does come with a lot of size charts and kind of how it's going to look once you get it all set up, which I very much appreciate. It gives you a maximum load. Kind of looks like it has a whole setup. The mic arm, we'll get into this, does have cable management trays on the inside of the mic arm, so it's not going to be like this where I have my cable, what do you call this? Velcroed to the mount itself. It's actually going to be an inside cable, which will be really nice with cats, even though they don't mess with my cables anymore. That little gremlin up there has been known to. So let's get the rest of this mic arm going. So it looks for the microphone arm, because I've got most of it now out of its packaging. You're going to get two main pieces. First is going to be the clamp that goes on your desk. And I need to do a comparison between this and my current arm, this is insane. This is great. That's going to fit any desk size that you have, which, because I've got a pretty thick desk, like that's just about the size of the desk that I have. I'm actually using like an old kitchen table. I'm just going to do this right now. Let me show you kind of what this microphone arm, this is a standard microphone arm, what you're going to look at when you get one. Okay, and now that I've got that entire mic arm gone and I'm in handheld mode, which probably sounds markedly worse, I can show you the difference between the desk clamp that your standard microphone arm will come with versus, let me just hold them at the same time. Do this here. Cradle this little microphone. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me well and it's not destroyed by movement noise. This is high production quality here. So this is you know, you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Look at the difference in these desk clamps. This is crazy. It's a much higher quality product, which makes sense though, because as I kind of said earlier, that microphone itself is a decent weight. Some of that may be this weighted stand that it's on. We'll see here in a minute when I get it all taken apart, but it's going to, if it's not all the base, it'll be a significantly heavier microphone. So you'll need a better mounting arm. Plus, who doesn't like a nice sturdy mounting arm for your microphone? Let's see if we can get some of the rest of this set up. Okay, I've got both microphones set up now in handheld mode. I have the Florian BM800, so $20 roughly XLR interface microphone, and I've got this running through a Behringer UMC22. You're going to get a lot of plosives and a lot of handling noise because this is not on a microphone arm currently. It's also not pop filtered, not shock mounted, and no windsock. But at the same time, I have the Elgato Wave 3 in the same use case. So this is without the shock filter, without the shock mount, without the pop filter. In handheld mode, it hasn't even been taken off of the stand, so there should be some handling noise, and not on the microphone arm. It is worth noting that there'll be some volume control that you can do afterward because this is on the lowest possible gain setting. Let me see if I can show that. There's one. I'll flop to the other mic for a second. There's one light down there showing that it's on like the lowest gain setting that you can have. So this is pretty much, you know, lowest gain straight into the USB, or straight USB into the computer. None of the Elgato software has been set up. So that means this is currently running, to my knowledge, without clip guard, without any additional processing. This is just straight raw into the computer. I just bought it, just unboxed it, plugged it in, set it up in OBS, and it's good to go. So that's kind of what it's going to sound like. If you want an idea of what it to sound like on your desk, I've kind of got stuff in a weird position right now, but this is basically directly on my desk. It's right at the tip of my pinky, pretty much, if I do this. So that's about what it would sound like at that distance. Of course, if you wanted, I think you can turn the microphone up a bit, so that's mid gain. And then this is me kind of tapping around on my desk and tapping on the bass itself to kind of give you an idea of the handling noise. So I'm going to turn the gain back down on the Elgato. I'm going to hold it for a moment. This up the top is a capacitive mute. And I'll swap to the BM800 so that you can see that when muted, there is a red indicator around the little adjustment knob there. And just to show you how easy it is to mute that on and off. Boom, we are back to live production with the Elgato Wave 3. So how does it sound? What do you think? I don't know, because I'm recording right now and I haven't edited yet. I have no idea. So I'm going to take this now. Give me a second to take this offline. For you, it's going to be instant, but I'm going to set up the microphone arm, get it plugged in, get the shock mount, get the pop filter, and we'll take a look. All right, well, hopefully this is sounding pretty good now. The physical setup was very easy. The microphone I've been testing with in the Wavelength software, it took, let me break it down this way. Once the Wavelength software was working, this sound that you're getting right now is virtually no filters and took me, a pretty inexperienced audio setup guy, probably 5 minutes to set up what I thought sounded good. Now, here's the problem. Getting the Wavelength software to work took almost an hour. And I don't know what the problem was. There are Reddit threads about people having issues with it finding a compatible device. I don't know for sure that it wasn't the port specific driver that I installed for my old Behringer DAC, because at the end, what I had to do was I swapped USB ports. I totally uninstalled everything. I had Elgato related. I had to go into the device manager and uninstall the Elgato root device. I had to install an old version of Elgato Wavelength, like 1.9, and then upgrade to 1.10, and then upgrade to 2. Whatever we're on now for everything to work, which I could see being very frustrating for a new user. It should not take that much work. And again, I don't know if a lot of that was because of, for Windows 10 and 11, for that Behringer UMC to work that I had, my old DAC, for it to work, you did have to do some funky stuff with a driver on specific ports. But I don't think that it's me. I don't think it's a me problem necessarily, because of all of the results online when I went to look for people having issues. And unfortunately, that's a big stain on the setup of when people are going to buy a USB microphone. Look, if someone's buying an XLR setup, for me to set up additional drivers or whatever on an XLR to a DAC to USB, yeah, I'm already expecting to have to do that. You're probably already in the mindset, if you're an XLR to a DAC user, thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to go in, yeah, I'm going to have to configure. But for this, for someone that's buying a plug and play, allegedly, microphone to have to go through 30 minutes to an hour, it was like 50 minutes right now from when I started. So I'll split the difference and I'll call it 45. To go through 45 minutes of setup on what should be a plug and play device is not good. Now, I hope that it's not the majority of people that have this issue. And now that it's working, from what I can tell, it sounds fantastic. And the setup is great. The mic arm is great. The build quality is awesome. It took no time to get it set exactly what felt comfortable. It's very easy to move and kind of reconfigure if I'm facing the camera here, or if I went to play like a game and I wanted to put it right in front of my face. I mean, it's that easy to move. My old setup would not have been this easy. So love that. Fix the software issues that you're having. And I think a lot more people could buy into this. Now, still, all that being said, do I think it's worth it? Well, I haven't had a Discord call to test with other people to see how they think I sound. But for usability, for once it's actually working, because I can look past, weird technical things, because that's my job anyway, as I work on computers. So I get it. Like, I understand. But had I gifted this to, some 13, 14, 15-year-old that's like just now getting in, just starting up, would they have been able to figure it out? I don't know. So for like a power user, for somebody that can figure stuff out, for somebody that generally knows what they're doing, so far, yes, I'd recommend it. I think it was totally worth. But for someone who maybe has a little less experience, they don't know 100% what they're doing, they're not sure how to set up and troubleshoot and go through the trouble of looking it up, or maybe you don't feel like you have 45 minutes worth of time to research and figure out an issue, or maybe longer if you don't get lucky and find it out quick, that could be cause for pause on this microphone. For me, it seems great. and I am very much enjoying it. I'm gonna all the content from here forward. I think so. The what should be right before this, if my schedule, my upload schedule, is the same as that one video where the recording failed. So everything post that should be with this. So I'm gonna get a lot of hands-on, a lot of use out of it. I'm gonna try it and see how it works. I'm planning on having a Discord call with some folks later today to see. I also work from home and I'm in meetings constantly, so I'll have kind of a work environment to test and see to make sure that it works well. The software in and of itself, the Wave Link software. Let me see if I can actually pull that up really quick. I'm gonna swap over here to a desktop capture and show you that software. Show you kind of what we're looking at once it's up. Okay. I think everything is kind of set up here. You can see, I'm going to move my camera down just a hair so you can see there are some controls on the top right, but this is the Wave software. And so what this will allow you to do, you can actually, and make sure if you're testing it starts out at 50%. This is just the monitor volume. It doesn't actually control how loud you are. It's just how loud you can hear yourself if you're using the monitor down here. Make sure you turn that up, because I was trying to figure out why I sounded so quiet for a long time. Like, I sounded quiet to me, but OBS had me loud. It's because I had this volume bar wrong. Took me like probably a good minute to figure out. You can go in here and add different effects. They have effects that like EQ and noise removal. You can also go, it'll take you, if you click this get more effects, it'll take you to Elgato's site where they have free plugins that you click. It's almost like a mod manager. So you click get and it's going to send it over to your Wavelink. It installs it for you. You can turn them on or off. It has one audio effect kind of built in, this voice focus, which is like a noise reduction, but I found that I don't want it on, nor do I need it, because I actually think that it sounds just fine. I'm using a small amount of white noise reduction on OBS, but for talking, for games like in Discord or games that have open voice chat or push to talk, I kind of like, especially in some of the co-op horror games that I've been playing, to be able to whisper and have that come through. And so I don't want to put some limiter here where it will break that. One effect that's really nice here, let me see if I can find out where I get to it. Here, sorry. It's up here at the top. If you click on this drop down for your microphone, you can also change the LED direction. So if you're looking at the microphone, it has some pretty non-invasive LEDs to tell you where your volume is, where your monitor is, and the mix between stream and monitor, which I'll talk about stream and monitor mix here in a moment. It shows you your microphone level, your input gain, which I have at 12 decibels currently. I think that's just the default that it was at. I could move that up or down, but right now I think everything sounds fine. You can change how the headphone jack works. There is a headphone jack on the microphone itself. And audio enhancements, where you have an enhanced low-cut filter. So I am not going to use that. It tells you when it's, if you hover over it, kind of when they recommend it. It's if you're talking from a distance greater than half a meter, looks like, which I am not. I'm pretty much right on top of this thing. It has the gain lock, so I will be using this. Actually, I did not even see this until now, because Microsoft Teams loves to change your gain, and sometimes so does Discord and other applications. And this one right here in the middle is the one I really wanted to highlight. It's called Clip Guard. It basically prevents you from ever being able to clip your microphone by being too loud. So I'm like right up on it, talking very loudly, and it won't clip. If I take this off, and I apologize for this, and get real up close and loud, you can see it start to peek into the red there a little bit. I don't want to shout necessarily, but it basically is a safeguard to prevent you from hard clipping, from getting distorted, which happens to me in with that old BM 800 or whatever microphone that I had before. I would experience that a lot, but it prevents you from doing that without necessarily coming in and over processing your audio, where you start to sound less natural. The more filters, the more processors you add on your audio device, just as a truth, generally speaking, the less natural you sound. You want to have a more natural tone. That's what people kind of like to hear. That's your general podcasty tone, whatever you want to call it, is a very natural voice. And I think ClipGuard helps you kind of stay right in that natural zone, even if you get over and excited, without having to super process down your audio. I'm me flip back over here. With that, I do love how adjustable this is. It's so easy to move, so easy to set up. I love the cable tray. They're these magnetic cable trays on the mic arm itself. I'll stop hitting on that in case that's loud. It seems like it sounds very good. The software, the Wavelength software, is very easy to use once it works. The build quality of everything seems very high tier. I would recommend this microphone even with those weird software glitches, because you might not even experience them. It may be totally fine. I may have done all that to myself. Again, I don't think so, because there's a lot of folks online that seem to have a very similar, if not the exact same issue of it telling me that I needed to connect a compatible device. But it seems like those are a vast minority in the sea of folks that have this microphone. So you should check it out if you're looking for an upgrade. This specific bundle is the Elevate Your Sound bundle, which I'll either throw a link to or show somehow. And thanks for checking out my first impressions video, my first unboxing and first kind of, is it a review? Is it a first impressions only? I don't know. You can decide. That'll throw up. This is that I'll put up on the channel. So with that, I'll leave you to it. We'll see you on the next one.